What's up, you guys?
So y'all are probably thinking, really, Slim? A format analysis? Really? Yeah, you damn right we about to do a format analysis. What's going on, you guys? So this is the first time I'm doing this type of video. Hopefully it does well. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit it with the thumbs up. The more likes it gets, the more interaction it gets, the better. I know that you guys enjoy this kind of segment here on the channel. And I, for the first time, couldn't resist doing a format analysis because of the results of YCS Chicago. I unfortunately I was not able to go. I thought I was going to be able to. Things just did not work out for me. So unfortunately, I could not go, but to everyone that went, it looked like it was a great event, and it was one of the most diverse events I've ever seen. I'm going to have the pie chart up here now. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Like, this is insane. Like, this is literally insane what the top 32 breakdown was. And I'm going to go over everything. I don't want to make this into multiple parts. I want to make this, just a clean one video for this. And I'll do my best, to make this, just something that you guys can learn from and you guys can kind of just analyze the meta. This is something I do after every YCS. Usually it's not on video or anything, but I kind of just analyze, okay, this percent of decks top, this percent of decks top, this many people played this deck, this many people play this deck. Okay, what should I look for? What side deck cards can I use that will, help combat all these decks, get the most versatile side deck cards. You guys remember my video where I talked about, you want to play side deck cards that, blanket against multiple matches. So basically that's where I get my information. But for this, we're just going to break it down. I'm going to start with the two biggest parts of the pie chart, Thunder Dragons and Sky Strikers. Now, Sky Strikers I'm going to start with. So Sky Strikers haven't really changed. They play pretty much all the same cards. Their hand trap variants change, just depending on what they feel is right. I've seen builds that play Ogre, builds that don't play Ogre, builds that play Ash, builds that don't play Ash, builds that play Impermanence, builds that don't play Impermanence. We saw some builds that actually main deck Prankatops to go second. A lot of the builds are deciding whether they go first or second. If they go second, they can play cards like evenly matched, stuff like that. And honestly, we're going to see Strikers for a very long time. This deck, until it gets hit, is not going to, dwindle in attendance. Having 32%, same thing as Thunder Dragons, it means that more than 50% of the room were these two decks, which means a ton of people played the deck. Shouldn't be surprised. It was forecasted to be the best deck, even though it just really didn't perform that well. It did make, I believe, to top 8 or top 4, something like that. But overall, I mean, the deck, we're still going to see it. The new Link is cool, can cheese some wins in time. Also, you still have 3 Engage, you still have 3 Widow Anchor. It's just figuring out how to play the deck, because as good as the deck is, it does suffer against Thunder Dragons. It doesn't do that well against a lot of these danger decks, and I feel that even though the deck is still really good, I feel that, its amount of representation is going to drop going forward. I think it's definitely not the best deck in my opinion. I think the engine is insane, but I think it's just not really there. So that's my thing with Sky Strikers. I think the deck is great. I just don't think that it's going to be taking over as much as it has in the past. And even though it did represent a good amount this event, this might be the last time we see it really representing a ton. We're definitely still going to see it. Don't think you need to not side for it, but I think the problem with this deck is that a lot of people side deck cards for Altergeist that blanket against Sky Strikers, and with the new hand trap Phantasmal Dragon, I mean, it's just insane. It's one of the best cards against the deck. So yeah, you're definitely still going to see Sky Striker, but I think the amount of it being played is going to go down. Thunder Dragons. So Thunder Dragons are everywhere. There's pure Thunder Dragons. There's Danger Thunder Dragons. There's Danger Guard Dragon Thunder Dragons. There's so many builds of Thunder Dragons, and I mean, you guys know I'm happy as can be because I love Thunder Dragons, and I think the new Thunder Dragon Guard Dragon build is insane. I think a lot of people realized that, at this event, the deck did amazing. I think Furman got, 5th place or top 8, something like that. Dennis, my boy, got 2nd. Everyone was playing Dangers. Everyone was playing Thunder Dragons, in some kind of form. And, I mean, the deck is just insane. What can I say? I feel like people are going to continue to play this deck going forward. Lost Gold Sark, doesn't matter. If you play Pure, they play the Wolf card. If they don't play the Wolf card, they just play all the extenders. As long as Dangers exist, I feel this deck is going to exist in some capacity. And I think we're just going to see more and more people playing it and innovating it. It's innovated so many times already, even post the list, post losing Snow, post losing Brilliant Fusion, and look what it can still do. It can still set up a board of of 2 negates, 1 and 2 Colossus, can rip 2 cards out of your hand. I mean, that's what the deck does. The deck is nuts. So definitely think we're going to continue to see, and I can definitely see why 32% of the room played this deck along with Sky Strikers, but I think we're going to see an increase of Thunder Dragons, and probably, like I said, a decrease of Sky Striker. So those are the two main represented decks. Like, let's face it, we already know the top 5 decks. I didn't even do a top 5 decks because we already knew what they were going to be. We thought Sky Striker was going to be the best. We thought Altergeist was still going to be better than Thunder Dragon. And we'll talk about Altergeist for a minute. Do you see them anywhere here on the pie chart? Because I don't. Yeah, I don't know what happened, you guys. I have one theory, and I mean, it's pretty much a theory everyone has. So no Altergeist top. Doug came this close, but literally no Altergeist topped YCS Chicago, and I think it's because we're all prepared for them. I've said it in videos before. We've played a format before with the same deck. We'll be able to play it again. And I think people were overly prepared for Altergeist. Most decks were siding Reboot, Twister, Denko evenly in some form or capacity. There were even decks playing the Trap Typhoon, Heavy Storm Duster, all these cards that just absolutely destroy Altergeist. There's also Prankachops either in the main or side deck. I think, unfortunately, this deck this was not the time to play it, even though Pot of Indulgence came out, even though it is like Pot of Greed. I think that just too many people were prepared. There was just too many side deck cards. There were too many, like, even main deck cards that just destroyed Altergeist. So I do think we will see Altergeist somewhere in the next YCS. Of course, in the regional season, but I think in the next YCS we will see them. I just don't know to what percentage or what capacity they'll be played, but I think it's just the fact that everyone is so prepared for them that they just did not do as well. So we shall see what happens going forward in the next YCS. I just wanted to knock Altergeist out. Now look at the rest of this pie chart. We've got 3% all across the board, and we got 2 decks that had 6% representation. We'll start with Crusadia. So Crusadia Guard Dragons is a deck that basically kills you. It basically just kills you. It can set up negates going first. It can kill you going second. And I personally don't really know a lot about the deck. All I know is the deck can kill you, and playing it with Guard Dragons is really cool because you can use cards like Red MD. You can use just crazy things and just like blow your opponent out, and the Crusadias all work with it. So I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg for the deck. I think that now that people have found that, yeah, the deck can top, yeah, I can play the deck, I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see a little bit more. I don't know if it'll pass the 6% mark and like top cut, but I think we'll definitely see more people trying the deck out. And I welcome it because it's a deck that we really, even when it came out, we didn't really see that much done with it. So it's nice to see that they're, you know, still pushing the deck forward. And Sub-Terrors, I mean, Guru is the goo. Guru is the goo, and Guru is the reason, Guru Indulgence are the reason why this deck did so well. I believe there were 2 of them, Same as Sub-Terror, same as Crusadias. I believe there were 2 in top cut. I think one made all the way to top 16. This deck is nuts. This deck is a control deck. This deck is a trap deck. This deck basically took Altergeist's place. And because of that, I feel like we're still going to see it. I mean, Indulgence is a hell of a card. Guru is a hell of a card. Their trap is a hell of a card. And they just play a bunch of Solemns, a bunch of traps. And I feel like any deck that can do that and play a stun deck like that is going to do well because it's set up to beat the meta. So I definitely welcome it, and I want to see more of what happens with Sub-Terrors. Also, I think they have a crazy match against Thunder Dragons because, I mean, they can book stuff. So, I mean, that's ridiculous too. So very, very cool. I think we'll definitely see more Sub-Terrors going forward. Now, all these 3%, I mean, Jesus, where am I supposed to even start? So, Raph. We'll start with Raph. We'll start with the winner. Lunalights. He won. People didn't know what the deck did. I made a video. You guys already know why this deck won. Yeah, what else can I say? Refer to that video. Shout out to Raph, great guy. Congratulations on winning your second YCS. Will we see more Lunalights played? I think so. When a deck wins, what do people do? We net deck, we copy it, we play it. All I'm going to say is be prepared, you guys. Be prepared to play against that deck because if you are not, I mean, you're going to suffer just as a lot of people suffered at the YCS not knowing what the deck did. So definitely prepare for Lunalights. There was one prank kids in top. I think that deck's great. I think that deck, since it won, and, you know, going forward, it's been very consistent at doing well at regionals, locals, all kind of levels of events. And, I mean, it's nice that one still got in there, and it was cool. He was playing the Thunder Dragon cards. He could still, you know, set up even crazier boards. Like, he could set up Totally Awesome, Colossus, etc. I think Prank Kids is definitely a deck you should not count out. You should not forget about. It's definitely a deck that, you know, for the most part, I mean, most of the deck is cheap, right? Like, I mean, outside of maybe Place. I don't even know if Place is that expensive, but Prank Kids is definitely a deck I would not count out and be prepared for. That's all I'm going to say. We saw it in representation. Only one made top cut. I believe he made top 16. Like, that's past 32. Like, that's still really good. So, I think Prank Kids is definitely a deck we should still pay attention to and not neglect. Then there was Orcas. Okay, Ed. Hi, Ed. So, yeah, he played 5 Orcas cards. I know, we all called it Danger Orcas. He played a going second attack Boral Sword Dragon kill you deck. And are we going to see more of this deck? Maybe. I'm going to tell you guys one thing. Ed is a very good friend of mine. and I will be the first to tell you, I have tried Ed's decks. If you are not Ed, you will not play the deck as good or anywhere near as good as he does. And I say that wholeheartedly. He is one of the best players I know, and yeah, you can pick up this deck, net deck it card for card, change it if you want. I can't guarantee you will have the same success as he did, because also now it's public knowledge. It's posted everywhere all around YouTube, just as he wanted. It's definitely a very interesting concept. It's a going second kill you deck in the form of Boral Sword Dragon. I could definitely see people trying to play it and innovate it. I just don't know if we'll see it represented again, but very, very cool deck, and I really thought you were going to win, and I know your time's coming, so yeah, very cool deck overall. Calvin. I mean, if you're not Calvin Tahan, I don't think you can play ABC. I'm just going to be honest. I have nothing else to say. He says he's not playing it again, we'll see, but I have nothing else to say. That man can make ABC work in any format, so there you go. Pendulum Magicians, my boy DeBlessin, you already know. This deck is nuts. Caliuga Turbo is nuts. I mean, Pendulum, shout out to Triff, you already know. Yeah, I mean, the deck is still around. Never neglect Pendulums, you guys. The minute you neglect Pendulums and they just summon 4 monsters for free, I mean, you know, you pay the price. Caliuga says you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! It basically, in a sense, almost skips your turn. Heavy Storm Dusters you, all that, or Heavy Storms you at the end phase. Like, I mean, that deck's insane. So definitely do not neglect Pendulums. I know he was the only one that topped, but definitely don't neglect that deck. Like I said, there are plenty of cards you side against other decks that, you know, blanket against Pendulums. So just don't be surprised if you play against Pendulums. And then we had Trickstar. I believe there was like 1 Trickstar in Top Cut. The new card playing Kurban, whatever it was. I mean, Trickstars are Trickstars. You know, shout out to Bortle. He always plays Trickstars. Trickstars is always going to be a deck. Until they hit Reincarnation or Droll or something, they're still going to be a deck, and it's very scary because Droll Reincarnation is still a thing. Again, this deck, you know, only got only one in the top 32, but don't be surprised if you play against it in Swiss or in Top Cut, depending on what you're playing. I don't be surprised if you see it at locals, regionals, etc. Again, the one downside to this deck is a lot of cards that people are citing, the cards I mentioned, like Reboot, Denko, Twister, Evenly, etc. Like, you can just have these cards for Altergeist, Sky Strikers, other decks, Thunder Dragons, and you can blanket them against Trickstars. So that's one more thing to remember. And if you're playing Thunder Dragons, you already have a really, really good matchup against them. So just one thing to remember is, yes, it did top. Yes, you will still see it in places. But I feel that most side decks, if they're as generic as the ones we've seen, I think they can, you know, be fine against Trickstar. But again, don't neglect the deck. If you learned anything from this video and this format analysis, never count a deck out and never neglect it. Trust me, I've been there and I've paid the price. So definitely remember Trickstar is still a deck. Same with Cyber Dragons. This deck is scary as all hell. I've lost to a couple Cyber Dragons. Like, I remember losing at regionals to one, like, literally, like, and losing, like, getting killed because I activated Instant Fusion to summon Kaminari attack. Like, he would have almost killed me, and I basically killed myself with the Instant Fusion. I was just like, well, this sucks. But, you know, I've lost to that deck multiple times, you know, even through testing and stuff like that. Deck is very scary. Deck kills you very fast. It's another just going second kill you deck. It's not even a Boral Sword deck. It's just a kill you deck. So don't be surprised if you see this deck still. People are still playing it. People are still piling it. I mean, it made it all the way to top 8. That should tell you everything you need to know. So still be prepared for Cyber Dragons. Don't neglect the deck. Again, that is the theme of this whole video. And last but not least, Dangers. So Dangers, they mean pure danger. They mean the build that the guy played, what was it, just straight up like Dangers, I think. And one thing I'll say is Dangers are everywhere. And they can be a deck of their own, and they can do stuff. There's the World OTK. There's so many ways you can go with Dangers. And as long as Dangers are still around, we're going to see Dangers in some form or capacity. So I ran through the whole pie chart. I know it was kind of fast. I did the best I could. I kind of want to keep this video at least, hopefully, under 20 minutes. Like, I scrolled through the whole thing for YCS Chicago, and what do I honestly think? All the decks that are at 3%, all these ones that got the one-off tops, don't be surprised if you play them anywhere. If you play them at regionals, locals, etc., they're there. The decks that got 6%, I think they're going to go up. I think more people are going to play Subterrors. I think more people are going to play Crusadia Guard Dragons, Crusadia, etc. be prepared. If I can teach you guys anything, be prepared. I need to prepare myself. I need to make better side deck choices. I need to, you know, be prepared for these decks. And for the decks that were heavily represented, Thunder Dragons and Sky Strikers, like I said, I think we're going to see an uproar in more Thunder Dragons because the deck is just insane. And I think Strikers will go down slightly. I'm not saying the deck is going to be completely neglected and barely played because that would be ridiculous. The deck is still amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. Not going to knock Strikers. They're an amazing engine, an amazing deck. And I think Altergeist will finally pop their head in. I think now that they've seen how people are building their decks and side decks, they will have to accommodate their deck to, you know, counter that. But overall, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Give it a like. A shout out to my Patreons. You guys are amazing. If you guys want to support me, links down below. If you guys want to see this this segment continue, just hit that like button, you guys. The more likes I get, the more I know you guys enjoy it. And hopefully, I know, like I said, a lot of channels do this. I wanted to do it too. I felt like I could bring a different perspective in a sense. Like, I feel the beauty of watching multiple channels is we all have different perspectives. We all have different experiences. We all have different, you know, skill levels and different things that we learn. A lot of channels, a lot of tubers go to the events and we learn a lot from each other. We learn from each other's experiences. So I feel doing stuff like this, it benefits not only each other, but it benefits everybody in the community, from the casual to the competitive, and especially the competitive, because we go over what you just played in or what you may play in the future. So if you guys enjoyed the video, you guys know what to do. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.